Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Hey, everybody. It is Stephen Boster, your co-host, along with Mr. Michael Shanks. And yes, I forgot to change the title. I changed it midstream, but it didn't change it since it's already up. So
now, wait a minute. Did it say the Batman up there?
No,
Author Kenobi?
It shouldn't have. No, it did not say Batman for Kenobi. No, it should have said for Kenobi. It should have said.
I don't know. I was just seeing it. It said
for
Batman
Kenobi and
so.
stuff.
Oh well.
All right. Well, hey, welcome.
Hey, I'm here.
Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. We got distracted, of course. What else? That's the great thing about going live sometimes. And I'm here with my good friend Mike.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land.
Yeah, I'll go and edit it post right afterwards. I'll go edit the title. So, hey, everybody, sorry about that.
You'll do a George Lucas. We'll fix that in post.
Yeah. Right. So, yes. Okay. Kenobi was correct.
Brenda said it was. Okay. I don't know. On mine, I just looked up and it said Batman talk, and I was like, oh, we're not doing Batman.
Oh, you know what? I changed it as I came in.
Oh, okay.
And maybe so you were already in. So, yeah, that's the whole thing. So, yeah, we're still learning the systems, everybody. Whoopsie.
It's all good.
You know, we always make sure, are you recording? Yes, I'm recording. Now we got to make sure, hey, did you change the title?
So in our pre-show checklist, we need to ask, did you change the title?
Did you change the title? I thought I did good with
who was
Kenobi.
it that gave us that advice? That was either Jason or Jimmy. I think it was Jimmy. I think Jimmy Mack from Rebel Force Radio, when he was giving us some advice, said you need to have a checklist and say, all right, Steven, have you done A, B, and C? And Mike, have you done A, B, and C? So
right,
we just need to add that to our checklist. So
that's so true.
Oh well. Funny. All right.
Oh my goodness. All right. So it's almost like, should we start over again?
No, we're good. We're good. Let's keep going.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for watching us. I tell you what, right now, Kenobi dropped. And so we were excited about we want to talk about that. But we had planned today to talk about, and so that's why we're doing 2 episodes today. We're talking about HBO Max's DC comic show, Peacemaker. I watched it. I told Mike, I said, man, I really don't like the first episode. There are parts of it I like. Second episode, I was like, well, I don't know. But I really like the story. And the story is what hooked me in and kept me in through the whole thing. And really, by the time we got to the end of it, we really enjoyed the show.
So I watched first 3 episodes. Wasn't sure if I liked it or not at first. Stopped watching it. And then it wasn't until you came back and said, have you watched Peacemaker yet? Well, I watched the first 3 episodes, but I haven't watched beyond that. Oh, you should probably keep watching it. Okay. And then it took me a few weeks. But I finally got around to it and watched it. It is a fun show. I'll give it that. It is a fun show. The humor is very crude. It is not a kid show. Definitely do not let your kids watch this show.
It is not a kid show.
It is not a kid show.
Yeah.
I described it as this was DC trying to outdo Deadpool at being Deadpool. That's the way I described this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, he's even goofier than Deadpool. But right. There's some similarities there. And then of course the humor is definitely very similar to Deadpool. So if you like Deadpool, you like that type of humor, you probably like this show, most likely.
Huh. Interesting. I would say yes. Once we get past episode 1 and 2, because episode 1 and 2, I thought was just, I didn't like the humor in it. I thought it was, in all openness, I thought it was too crude. I thought it was childish. Deadpool's a little clever. Deadpool's clever in.
You don't think Deadpool is childish? Really?
Well, okay, yeah, maybe there's some parts in there.
All right.
Okay.
I think maybe you should rewatch Deadpool and then come back and rewatch this and tell me the humor is not the same, because it is. It's the same humor. What, Megan?
I said leave Deadpool alone.
I like Deadpool. I'm not.
Oh, Deadpool's fine. I enjoyed actually.
I think they were trying to out Deadpool. That's what I think they were trying to do. Honestly.
Really? Okay. Now, did you like the story? The story itself, beyond just the goofy, crude humor and stuff. Did you like the story?
They hooked me in with this whole butterfly thing, because I was like, "What the hell is this butterfly?"
Right.
So, yeah, I wanted to know what is going on with this. I had never heard of the butterfly, so I had no idea what that was, and yeah, I thought it was interesting. I liked it. It was pretty good.
I thought I had some good twists and turns to it, like some interesting. Oh, that was a surprise. Like the head of their little unit.
Oh yeah,
was a butterfly,
right?
And they're like, what? The whole thing. You get Amanda Waller's daughter in it, which was good. Vigilante was hysterical.
I got some things to say about Vigilante.
Okay. And then and the big reveal at the end where he was like, "You guys are too late." kind of a thing. I enjoyed that as well. And stuff. So
I'm hoping that the end is giving us some hope. Let's put it there. If you are a Justice League Zack Snyder fan and you enjoyed the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, if anything, I hope the end of Peacemaker gives us hope for the future. That's
gotcha.
I'll put it that way.
Okay. I like it. Okay.
Which
cool.
is funny, because Brian from Three Geeky Dads had commented to me in a previous episode, Have you watched the season finale of Peacemaker yet? And he was referring to that season. So that scene,
that ending. So. Yeah. We'll talk about that here shortly. So, all right. So if I had to rate the show Peacemaker, I actually going to rank it 3 out of 5 butterflies.
Nice. If I first of all, I want to rank it on a full season. We're not going to go episode.
Oh no, full season. Good clarification. I'm saying the full season. Yes, thank you.
Full season. I mean, by the end of it, I really enjoyed the show. So
yes,
I would give it a 4. I by the end of it, I was really liking it. I thought it was. I thought it was a fun show.
Right. Okay.
Now, I had some issues with Vigilante, and we'll get into Vigilante a little bit.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing I love about this show is the music. The music in this show is, man.
I wondered how much of the music you would really like.
Now, they used a lot of obscure 80s metal, 80s glam bands, hair metal, however you want to refer to it. They're a little more obscure. I would have preferred a little bit of the more mainstream ones. They did mention Cinderella, which is one of my all-time favorite 80s bands. I think Cinderella is a very underrated band. But they didn't play any of Cinderella's music, so I was bummed by that. They did play Faster Pussycat, Choir Boys, and man, just tons and tons of 80s music. So it was cool. But the thing that really got me was the introduction to the show, the intro to the show, which that song I had never heard before. And it has a very 80s vibe to it. And I thought that the song was made just for this show. Turns out this is an existing song. This has been around since like 2010. And,
okay.
And the band is a Norwegian hair metal band. I didn't know there was such a thing.
What's the name of the band again? What's the name of it?
Wigwam. They're either Wigwam or Wigwam. I'm going to say Wham because it's spelled W-A-M. And the 80s band Wham, which is not a hair metal band, it's more of a pop band. They were spelled W-H-M. So since they were W-H-M and they were pronounced Wham, I'm going to say this is Wigwam. So anybody who's a fan of the band, you can correct me on the pronunciation, but I'm going to call it Wigwam. So yeah, I'd found out that this band, I guess James Gunn, I don't know if he's a fan of the band. I have no idea how he discovered these guys, but he decided to use the song, and there's a funny story about this band and the song. So it turns out, just like a few days before Peacemaker premiered on HBO Max, the lead singer of the band gets a phone call from their record company, from their label, and their label was going to drop them. Apparently, they decided there wasn't enough interest in the band, and they were going to drop the band. And the lead singer went, "You might want to wait a few days before you drop us." And he's like, "I can't say anything. I'm under the NDA. But you just might want to wait a few days." I think they did wait a few days, and I think they were smart because this band's getting a lot of attention now, a whole lot of attention because of the Peacemaker series. And I went back and I downloaded the album that song appears on. I forgot the title of the album. Let's see.
I don't know the album, but the song is Do You Want to Taste It?
Right. Yeah, the song is Do You Want to Taste It? The album is called Nonstop Rock and Roll. The album cover is very, very 80s. So cool looking. I love it. And then that was from 2010, and I listened to that album, and I'm just like, holy crap! It took me right back to high school. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Fantastic. And then I downloaded their latest album, and their latest one is called Never Say Die. And so the latest album just has the band members on it, and they're holding the flag up. And I have no idea what the flag is. Could be a Norwegian flag. Who knows? Anyway, but man, they look like Motley Crue meets Judas Priest. Like the one guy, he looks like Nikki Sixx, and another one, he reminded me of KK Downing from Judas Priest, and the other one kind of reminds me of Rob Halford of Judas Priest, the metal god. By the way, Rob Halford is the metal god. So, and I'm a big fan of Priest. I listen to Priest to this day still, and Halford I love. So, I don't listen to Crue as much as I used to, but still enjoy the Crue. So, man, great band. Just really, really good band. If you're into that kind of music, I cannot praise these guys more. So
that's cool. Well, I know you're a big music guy. I mean, you've especially rock metal bands and all those kinds of things. So that's interesting. I'll check them out. Hopefully they're on Spotify.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure. I found them on Apple Music, so I'm sure.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure
nice.
On Spotify.
Okay. So I have to say, the opener, I was always mesmerized. I don't know why, but the opening sequence where they're playing the song and they're doing the dance.
The dance is so goofy.
It is so goofy. It is mesmerizing, and I think I watched it every single episode.
You have to, man. You can't watch it without watching the opening sequence to that. It is just so funny.
Yes, they are on Spotify.
Okay.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Megan. Well, I tell you, I enjoyed it. every time. First thought, I was like, oh, that song's a great song. What is this dance? Kind of a thing. And then they're doing it, and I'm like, and there's certain parts I want to see in it and stuff and all that. Then, it's just so goofy. It's funny. And I would watch it every single episode, every time I watched it. Now, I've watched the show probably twice because Troy wanted to see it. So, you
watched the entire season twice?
I did.
Wow.
And the reason being is because Troy wanted to see it. And so I previewed it to go, okay, language, you got to learn at some point languages in the world, and you just got to deal with it or whatever if you don't like it. And I'm not trying to be a prude here. So I was like, okay, but there are some scenes in there that are totally inappropriate for kids that I was like, I'd be like, okay, we got to skip over this part, or close your eyes, close your ears, look away, kind of a thing, or something to that effect. So, much of that deals with, stuff sexual in nature, kind of a thing. I was like, you're too young for this. It's not time for you on this kind of stuff.
Sure.
And the graphic, violent stuff, no, because Troy's at that age.
Video games.
He does video games, but the other thing was this was the year we introduced him to Halloween, the movies Halloween, and so we previewed it before we watched it because Kelly and I went to go see for the show. We went to go see Halloween Kills, and so we saw it. Now we didn't take Troy to see it, but he was all about, well, I want to watch it. So it was okay. Well, let's watch the first one. We'll watch in this new trilogy, the Halloween, the first one. And
you should show him the first one. That's the best anyway.
You're right. The very first one. Yeah, we didn't show him that one. So, but we thought, so that's why I previewed it. So I kind of saw it twice. So that's how many times I saw the opening sequence.
Nice. Wow. Well, I like the opening sequence. I think it's hilarious. I get a kick out of it when they flip the bird at you. That's pretty funny.
Right. Well, you think they're doing the, the moves, and then the one girl's flipping the bird. And I'm like, oh.
I think they all actually are. I think it's
they?
Just part of the move. I think James Gunn and I don't know who choreographed it. I don't know if he did. I have no idea who to give the credit to on that. But I think when they choreographed it, they all actually flip the bird. And then of course Peacemaker shoots his gun, which I find funny. And then have Eagly fly in at the end. Oh, and what's his face? The ninja guy. And Peacemaker holds him up, almost like the
on his shoulder.
Yeah, almost like the Dirty Dancing move.
Right.
That's hilarious, man. It's just so funny.
Brenda's saying I should do the dance since I've seen it so many times.
It's such a goofy dance, but
it is goofy.
It is so much fun.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
All right. So, assuming, if you're watching this, you've probably seen it. You may be interested. You've probably seen the show Peacemaker. And I don't know if we need to do a rundown of each of the episodes or anything for folks. But I will say this. One of my favorite sequences, me, I love to talk about my favorite parts in the show, was the whole thing about the neighbor.
Oh,
so Peacemaker's going to go see his dad.
To his dad?
The neighbor's out there.
Oh, the neighbor was great.
The neighbor was great. And they start talking about Batman.
Oh, yeah. Batman's a... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, there were some jokes about Batman. There's some real inappropriate jokes about Aquaman, too. Which, again, I'm not repeating those, but... things that Aquaman do with fish, yeah.
Right.
Which we get a callback at the end of the season to that too, that was pretty funny.
Right.
Yeah, the neighbor was fantastic. He was great. He was
really good.
He was almost like the kind of upset version. Well, I don't even know how I describe him. He's almost like Tim Allen's neighbor.
Oh, Home Improvement
show,
The Neighbor.
Except this guy just makes fun of you and and says mean things to you. Instead of trying to be encouraging like Wilson was encouraged. It was Wilson, wasn't it?
Wilson. Yeah,
Wilson.
Very good. Yeah.
Wilson. I used to love Wilson. He was great with the fence and
you never saw his face.
Right. I always loved how when like if they were at a award ceremony or something like that and Wilson would have like a little fence thing that he put up over his face.
Yep.
I always thought that was great.
Always have something. So that ever was kind of like that. Yeah. Okay, so I talked about one part. What was one part that you really liked about the show?
Well, I was thrilled when I saw Vigilante because Vigilante is a creation from Marv Wolfman and George Perez, which are the geniuses behind the new Teen Titans of the 80s, hashtag My Teen Titans. I got to say it every time.
That's all right.
They're the creative geniuses behind Vigilante. Now, I remember Vigilante coming out in the 80s, and I was a huge Deathstroke fan because of the Titans and because of George Perez and Marv Wolfman. Which, by the way, George Perez's health is not doing great. I don't know if he's even expected to live through this year. So give some love to George Perez. He's amazing. He's done work on both Marvel and DC. Look up his work. He's just incredible DC artist and Marvel artist. Anyway, so yeah, I remember buying the first issue of Vigilante. Now, I really don't remember the story. The cover. I love the cover and his look. And the character in the TV series looked like he walked right off that comic book cover. I mean, it looked exactly like George Perez's design.
Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
And when I saw that, I'm like, holy crap. Freaking Vigilante just walked off the comic book, dude. Then he opened his mouth. And I was like, I really don't remember the Vigilante being like this. You know, I don't remember him being as goofy and I hate to say it, but dumb. He is dumb in the show.
Did you go back on the DC app?
I haven't yet. I need to. I just haven't had time to do it.
Yeah,
but
sure. That's okay.
I want to.
I was just curious since you liked him so much if you were like, hey, is this what it was really like?
I really don't know. Now, that's not to say that he wasn't fun in the show. I thought he was. I thought he was a lot of fun. I just don't think he represented the comic book, at least the way I remember anyway. But now his look, I was thrilled. I was like, oh my gosh, he's really just walked off the comic book. This is amazing. You know. Now
let me ask you this. Now, barring just setting aside the comic book Vigilante, and let's just say it was just a different Vigilante in the show, what did you think of him?
Oh, he was hilarious. He just so goofy and
right.
He was a lot of fun. I enjoyed him. I liked him.
My second favorite scene within the series was when he goes into the jail because I just need to go kill his dad or something like that, kind of a thing.
What's her face? I can't think of her name. She's the one
Amanda Waller's daughter.
Amanda Waller's daughter. She basically convinces him that he needs to get into the jail to kill Peacemaker's dad. Which, by the way, Peacemaker's dad, I want to acknowledge this. He is the actor who played. Have you seen this boy? He's T2 from Terminator 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't realize
Robert
that
Patrick.
because he don't look like he did back then.
No, but I mean that was 30 years ago.
I know, but still, I didn't realize that was the same actor that played. Have you seen this boy?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, he's
been in a whole bunch of stuff too.
He had the weirdest hair in this show. His hair was messed up in this show.
I like it where in this show, yes,
yeah,
it was really good. So I found his character
repulsive.
You
froze up for a second there.
Oh, okay. I found his character was repulsive, kind of a thing, but it's kind of like those bad guys you love to hate.
Yes,
kind of a thing.
Agreed.
That's exactly what he was, and I was like, oh,
yeah, because his morals are really screwed up. Obviously. You know,
and it's meant to be. Bad guys are meant to be that way.
Sure,
you know, I mean,
but at the same time, man, some of the stuff, some of his lines and stuff were freaking hilarious, man. The guy is funny, you know. Regardless of who he is and how you feel about him morally, he's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. So I was just saying my second favorite scene was when Vigilante was going into the jail, and when he had that big old fight sequence, you know, because you're like, okay, here's Vigilante. He looks like he's a scrawny kid, kind of a thing.
He looks totally nerdy, you know.
Totally nerdy, but man, he could handle himself and take care of himself.
Yeah.
In there, and I love it where, you know, the Peacemaker's dad was like, or the dragon, you know, he's like, you're not baiting me into a fight. I know what this is. I gotta talk. I'm spilling the beans, you know, kind of a thing.
Get me the warden.
Right.
I got information. I'm talking.
Yeah.
I loved it when he goes, I'm no rat, but I'm talking. Well, I don't know if you know this, but that's the definition of a rat.
Right.
Somehow you forgot that.
Yep. So
I liked. Wait a minute. I liked when.
Go ahead.
When Peacemaker and Vigilante are target practicing.
Yes.
Just blowing crap up, man.
Just because he needs to be cheered up, so they just go and blow stuff up.
It's like, yeah, I like you guys. That's the kind of thing I like to do too. That was just fun.
Yeah.
Fun moment.
Yep. It was a very fun moment. Yeah, that's another good moment was there where he was all said, like, let's go blow up stuff. And all, and that was fun to watch. That was, you know, kind of a thing. So I was going to ask you, what else did you enjoy about the show?
I like, okay. I thought her name was Hardcore. But I learned from listening to Three Geeky Dads. It's not actually, or no. I think it was Three.
They
Geeky
did a show
Dads.
on it.
Yeah. It wasn't hardcore. It's hardcore, which
it's hardcore,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Through the whole show, I thought it was hardcore. You know, which I thought was very appropriate for her.
Appropriate,
anyway.
Because she was hardcore.
You ain't kidding. She was definitely hardcore. Yeah. And I mean, she was all business throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I really like her character. She's really cool. She's a lot of fun.
Now she was in Suicide Squad.
Right, she was in Suicide Squad. So was The Economist, or they call him The Economist. Right? Yeah. He was in Suicide Squad too.
Diebeard.
Diebeard. Turns out Diebeard's a pretty badass dude, actually.
Right. That's another favorite scene I want to talk about in a little bit. But
I love that too.
So,
I love the moments with him too. He has some really good moments.
She's dating James Gunn. The actress is dating James Gunn, right?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think he proposed to her just recently or something like that. So, which I thought was kind of interesting. So,
no clue. I don't know about their
that proposal thing is true or not or whatever.
I don't know about these Hollywood relationships. I don't follow those too much anyway.
Well, I think it's just one of those things that pops up about, you know, here's James Gunn. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's the actress with him, you know, kind of a thing. Oh, there must be a thing.
The latest thing I knew was Jason Momoa and
Lisa Bonet.
Yeah, Lisa Bonet, and how supposedly they split up and now supposedly they're back together. So that's
right.
And honestly, I don't care about that either. I could care less.
Well, hey, let's talk about that Economist scene because, you know, last episode we were talking about werewolf with a chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, we got Economist with a chainsaw.
We got Economist with a chainsaw.
We didn't talk about that on an episode, but so we probably should expand on that just a little bit. So we recently met with Three Geeky Dads. I don't know, by the time you're hearing this, if you're listening to the audio or you might know that we are planning some episodes with Three Geeky Dads, their podcast. And Mark at Three Geeky Dads said that he's working on a comic book called Werewolf with a Chainsaw.
Well, he's already done one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's finishing up his second one.
He's working on the second one. So hopefully that'll be available somewhere because I want to buy a copy of it.
Right.
But yeah, this reminds me, when he says that reminds me of Peacemaker and The Economist. So we in Peacemaker, we get The Economist with a chainsaw.
Right.
Which Vigilante was jealous over. Because, I mean, they're coming out of the truck and Vigilante's got the chainsaw and he's all excited. He's like, all right, I get to take people out with a chainsaw. And even Peacemaker, even Chris is like, put it back.
Right.
We don't need a chainsaw. What's wrong with you? And then what happens? The Economist saves their butts because he comes with the chainsaw and starts killing butterflies. Mm-hmm. Which is a pretty glorious scene too.
Yeah, and it also one of the reasons I really like that scene was, well, one, the scene was just great. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
But it also marked finally the difference in the relationship between Economist and Peacemaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
because he was
Peacemaker plays the bully role pretty well, you know.
He does, and they even make a joke about it in the show.
Yeah.
About how, he's a bully.
He is
kind of a thing,
and he's constantly making fun of the Economist and making making up nicknames for him, Diebeard,
right?
Which, I mean, his nicknames are hilarious. Most of them are, but I can see where the Economist would get upset over it. I don't know what his actual name is. I just know they call him the Economist. I'm bad with the names. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It was great. He did great, though. It was really good.
But he ended up with like three big kills, I think. Because the chainsaw wasn't the only kill he had. He had a couple other kills too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because every time he'd do it, everyone was like shocked because he seemed to be the one character. Well, him and Amanda Waller's character, she was opposed to killing too.
Right.
Oh yeah, I love that when Peacemaker, he would kill somebody and then she'd shoot him after.
Right.
And he looks at her
already.
He looks at her and says, "You could stop that."
Right.
That was hilarious, man.
Yep. So I also love the scene where we first get introduced to the butterflies. Well, let me rephrase that. Because really, that's not really the first scene. The first scene was with that girl in that great fight sequence.
Yeah.
That was the first time.
But we didn't really know that she was a butterfly.
We didn't.
Right.
We didn't. It was like, well, something's going on.
Yeah.
What's that? It was at that moment. Well, it was at the moment where he had the sonic boom helmet. Then, with her. At that moment, I was like, okay, there's a story here. Kind of a thing. Okay, there's something going on.
I also love the fact that after all that happens, he's back in her apartment and he's stealing all of her 80s metal albums.
Her record collection.
Her whole record collection. He's like, I got to take this, and I think Cinderella was one of the bands in the record collection. I think Cinderella was in there, Faster Pussycat. Yeah, I can't remember. GNR might have been in there too. I don't remember all of it, but that was hilarious, man. And he was not letting go of those records either.
No. Right. It was great. So the that scene where they're at the house of the senator, and and I thought it was so interesting. And I usually kind of draw the line in some movies or films and stuff where you've got kids involved.
Sure.
And I'm the point is he couldn't shoot them. Peacemaker couldn't shoot him.
Vigilante could though.
But Vigilante was like, "Hey buddy, I got this."
Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
He just takes him out.
Yeah, which was funny. And I'm glad they didn't show the whole thing with the kids, and they shouldn't have. And I'm glad they didn't. For me, there's just a line, and I get it. It's part of the story, and I'm thankful they didn't show it or they didn't go gory with it.
Okay, I don't think that's as traumatic as the Anakin Skywalker scene in Revenge of the Sith. and they didn't show. I think that scene is hugely traumatic. You know,
right? I'm just talking about with kids.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, there's a separation here because the kids in this scene, they're no longer the kids. They're the butterflies.
You're talking about when he's in the Jedi temple and his lightsaber pops up.
And Anakin takes out the younglings, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, with that, they were who they were. At least with Peacemaker, the kids weren't.
They were taken over.
They were taken over.
They weren't the kids. They were already.
The kids were already dead.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
which that was almost horror filmish, where all those butterflies come into the police station.
Oh yeah.
To get everybody.
Very birds like the birds. Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, breaking it. Nice. Yeah. Nice connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. And then,
in fact, I wonder if James Gunn was inspired by the birds for those scenes.
Probably, possibly.
It just had a feel of that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I loved it how they already made the comments where the one that was the senator moved into the lady detective.
Goff.
And I thought it was interesting that they said you always have to learn to re-smile with each face or something like that.
That was great. And they have these awkward smiles.
See them all coming down the hallway, and they're always all doing these awkward smiles. But the one that I thought was the best, the creepiest, plus I thought Joker, was the guy who came in as kind of the captain and the captain, and his grin. I thought, oh my goodness, you could be an older Joker.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Yeah. I was like, what? That was where my brain went.
Did you watch his after credits scene that he did? You know, there was an after credits scene after every episode.
I watched most of them, not all of them and stuff. This was the one where he was over the dead body and and trying different things. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
It was good.
And then there was another one where when he was doing the public announcement or whatever and announcing that Peacemaker, they'd found Peacemaker's
the diary,
yeah, and that he was in with the butterflies or something to that extent, or you know, but he just like goes off, you know, because
off script.
Yeah, he just completely goes off script for this after credit scene and just rambling the goofiest stuff. It was so funny.
Right. It was so fun. They got to riff on so much stuff because I think the post credit scene where
I know where you're going,
where Peacemaker is going off on all the other different people that they could have done other than his dad to set him up, and just kept going on and going on and going on. And it was just so funny.
I think it was like 70 different names or something that he ended up just blurting out.
Yeah. I was like, dude.
Somewhere there's a list of them. It's insane. It's just totally insane.
That's funny.
That was a good moment too. That was funny too.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What else did you like? What else did you like about the show?
I don't know. It's just the overall show was after I watched the whole thing, it's a fun show, you know. It's so weird that these quirky characters. I gotta admit, James Gunn is good at that, you know, because he did that with Marvel,
the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, before that,
Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. He's the one who did Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's right.
And I remember when Guardians came out, I was like, who are these guys? I don't know if I want to go see this movie because I've never heard of any of these guys. Mm-hmm. And then I heard a couple people who went and seen it, and they're like, oh my gosh, you got to see this movie. It's hilarious. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I went and seen it and just loved it. So funny. You know, and again, Guardians of the Galaxy, they're such off the wall, you know, B-lister characters that nobody had heard of. You know, I mean, unless you are like deep set, diehard Marvel, you know, just completely into Marvel Universe, you never heard of these guys. And Suicide Squad comes out and they do the same thing, you know, with who was it? Polka Dot Man. I had never
Polka Dot Man. I was like, who's Polka Dot Man?
Where did you pull this character out of your butt? I mean, what the heck?
Right.
Polka Dot Man and Detachable Kid and Weasel.
Weasel.
Weasel was great. I love Weasel. I loved how they were arguing over what the hell he was.
Right.
He's a werewolf.
Right.
No, he's not a werewolf. That was so funny. And then Harley thought he was a hyena. So yeah, I mean, Peacemaker himself is just such a goofy character, and I had heard about him before this, but I didn't know anything about it. I just thought, this is one of those weird, strange DC characters that nobody cares about, And James Gunn pulls off a freaking hit with this, It's like, how do you do this, man?
Right?
I don't know.
Right.
I have no clue how he does this. I mean, this character who his tagline is, "I will kill for peace."
Right.
Which is the goofiest thing in the world. It's like, that doesn't even make sense, dude.
I think what made it really interesting was his character was this whole thing about a guy who his moral code, his moral compass was all about, I'll do whatever it takes for peace.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like,
and it all strains from his brother, which I thought was good. I thought that was pretty touching of his story. We had some touching moments too. I didn't really expect with this, some somber moments, especially with the brother and learning the origin and how his moral code came about, and the fact that he ends up killing his brother by accident, and that's partially his dad's fault too. His dad's responsible for that, because they put him in a little pit fight. They put the two brothers into a pit fight, and he punches his brother, and the two of them are just looking at this like fun, okay, we're gonna have fun, and and basically more or less have a boxing match between us. Who knew it was going to turn into a death match, and he ends up killing his brother, and unexpectedly, so that sets his moral code right there. Didn't expect that at all. Really good moment.
Great character development, character story.
And then coming out of that, you have a great comedic moment, because I mean, he kills his dad. Okay, let's face it, his dad's not a good guy.
Right.
And his dad's going to try and kill him. That's his point. After his dad gets out of prison, he goes and gets the white dragon suit, which is a white supremacist thing and all that stuff. And then he's out to kill Chris. So Chris actually kills him before he can kill Chris. And Chris has a moment. Okay, yeah, your dad's a bad dude, but he's still your dad. And he still loves his dad. So and he has the flashback moment of his brother, and we get the background story on that. And then we come out of that, and Vigilante's standing there going, "Dude, this isn't a time to do your face muscle exercises."
Right.
And Waller's daughter's like, "You jackass, he's mourning." or hardcore. I forget who says it, She's like, "Are you an idiot? What's wrong with you?" But earlier in the season, he had a moment where he's crying, and Vigilante comes in on him in his trailer, and sees him crying. He's like, "No, I'm not crying. I'm practicing my face muscles, face muscle exercises, man." Dude, this isn't a time to practice your face muscle exercise. I know you got a strong face and all, but so that was it. It was a good balance. It was a really good balance between a nice somber moment and a serious moment into a really funny comedic moment. So I got to give James Gunn kudos for that. That was some good directing there. Good directing.
So the last episode, the big battle scene with all the butterflies and everything. I do want to talk about the last little bit, the last little surprise bit, but I didn't know if there's anything else you wanted to touch.
Yeah, before you get into that, I also liked when he kills the senator, and he actually captures the butterfly, and he keeps the butterfly, and he's even feeding the butterfly and taking care of it. But I liked his purpose behind it, because at first I was like, why the hell would you do that? Why wouldn't you just kill the thing? You know?
Right.
But his point was, they're not telling me what these things are.
I'm not getting all the information.
Yeah, I'm not getting, so I'm going to capture it, and I'm going to keep it alive, and I'm going to try to learn what it is. I thought that was pretty, let's face it, he's not a smart guy. he's a dumb guy. Come on. But I thought that was really intelligent of his character. I really liked that aspect. I thought that was really cool. So we had that moment of him keeping Goth, and then later when Goth takes over the police officer or whatever, she even thanks him for, even though she's evil and everything, she thanks him for taking care of him or taking care of her and feeding her, which I thought was another cool moment. So a lot of good stuff in this show, actually.
Yeah.
The more I analyze it, the more I'm seeing, this was really good. This was really good.
Yeah. Now, did they say they're getting a second season?
I think so. I think it was a huge hit. So,
right.
I think it's no brainer to have a second season. Question is, where does this put the Suicide Squad, though? Do we still get a Suicide Squad 3 after this?
Right, because of the whole whistleblowing at the end that her daughter does, Amanda Waller's daughter does.
Yeah, she calls out the whole Task Force X. That's what they're called, Task Force X, which is the Suicide Squad. So I'm kind of wondering if they just decided, all right, we're done with Suicide Squad now, and we're just going to go with Peacemaker instead. Now, I got to ask you, because I remember after we did our Suicide Squad 2, you were very adamant that you would not watch this show because of the fact that he kills what's-his-face in Suicide Squad 2.
So, yes.
So how did we get here?
I gave it a shot. Pardon the pun.
Okay. Yeah.
I know. No pun intended kind of a thing. Yeah.
No, that's a good
how
pun.
are they going to bring him back? How are they going to do that? Kind of a thing. And yeah.
Because Peacemaker was not portrayed as the good guy when he did that.
He was not portrayed as the good guy. Right. He killed I can't think of his name all of a sudden.
Megan said it. What did you say?
Rick Flag.
Yes, killed Flag. That's right. Which, it's like, what?
I liked Flag too. He was a good character.
I will say how they did the transition to that and how they made his character was really intriguing. He felt
that
bad. Whole moment. Yeah.
He felt bad.
He felt bad.
So you feel that he redeemed himself from that moment in the movie?
I think it was great character story, and that's what drew me in.
Okay.
He's still a quirky moral code for
sure is.
You know what I mean? So but it is interesting how it was done. So it was just an interesting story, and that's what drew me in.
Well, I was curious because I knew that we did the Suicide Squad 2, and you were very adamant. No, I'm not watching that show. I'm not watching that show.
Yeah, you killed him off. And the other thing is, it made it seem like you killed him off. How is he going to survive? Of course, they do a post-credit scene, and
well,
kind of a thing,
and I was more open to Peacemaker because I was like, well, he was a funny character. Let's at least give the show a shot, Right. So I think I was more open to it than you were.
You were actually in the beginning. You were, yeah. I think it's funny that I'm the one who finished it. Before you.
That's true. That's true. We did a flip flop on that.
We sure did.
But
all right.
Ultimately,
the very end, or not the very end, but the big battle. Then all of a sudden,
the moment.
Yes.
So
yes. Tell me your thoughts about the moment.
So during the battle, we get the point where somebody says, call in the Justice League, which would make sense, but
right.
The other thinking is we're not getting the Justice League showing up in a HBO Max TV series. Right. That's not going to happen. Well,
that's where my brain was. I was like, oh, how cute. They're going to talk about, we need to bring in the Justice League. And,
we had jokes throughout the season about the Justice League. We had Batman jokes and Aquaman jokes and so on and so forth.
Right.
So there was lots of talk about the Justice League, because he was, the neighbor was always comparing him to the Justice League. You're no hero. You're no Batman, and all this
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
But then, after everything is done, the freaking Justice League shows up.
Right.
So we get Batman. He shows up. We get the Flash, Aquaman, and it actually was Jason Momoa, which was awesome. And Flash was actually Ezra Miller, which is totally awesome. Superman was Wonder Woman there?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller were the only actors that were actually
that you saw.
That you saw.
Clearly saw. Yes.
Superman was kind of blurred. He was floating in the air, so it was not Henry Cavill, but you could tell it was the Henry Cavill Superman who was intended to be. I think. What's her name? Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot. I think Gal Gadot wanted to be there, but due to prior commitments, she couldn't make the appearance.
Okay.
I think that's the story behind her. But we do see Wonder Woman. So we get the Justice League. They show up. Zack Snyder's Justice League, which makes me very happy.
Oh,
very,
good call.
Very happy.
Right.
Because there's all this talk of, we're going to do away with the Zack Snyder Justice League. It's done. We're no longer going to go there. And I'm hoping that this is a sign of the future saying we're going to get a continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I would love to see that happen. So
I would love to see that.
If Warner Brothers and DC are smart, they will do it. But I don't have much faith in them being smart.
Well, I enjoyed that we got banter between Aquaman and Flash, which was pretty funny. I thought that was good. And then I enjoyed that, where Peacemaker got to say, "You guys are late," kind of a thing.
I just noticed I hadn't been paying attention to the chat. My wife said, "Leave Aquaman alone." Oh, sorry.
You should do the dance. I did talk about that. Yeah,
I clicked on that one by accident. She's a big Jason Momoa fan. She loves him. So whatever.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, hey, I think overall I was pleasantly surprised as I stuck with the series.
Me too.
First episode was okay. I did find some of the story intriguing. I'm like, what's up with this lady? They're fighting and what's all that? I'm like, then he does the sonic boom hat and I thought, oh, that's awesome. That was pretty cool.
The hats are so goofy.
The hats were goofy. The hats were all the different kinds and stuff.
I did love how they find out that the guy that's in charge of them, how they find out that he's
the X-ray helmet one.
Yeah, where Amanda Waller's daughter's wearing the X-ray helmet and she's looking around going, "Oh, you got to check this out. This is awesome." And then she turns and looks at him and goes, "Oh, crap."
Right. Yeah, that was a
good moment too. I forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Funny stuff.
Yep. Well, even the helmet, the human torpedo win for the end.
Well, no, I won't say that was the dumbest helmet. The dumbest helmet was the one that gives
scabies.
Yeah, gives everyone scabies. It's like, what the hell is that? Why would you make something like that?
Right.
A weird thing. And then, okay, so the human torpedo was probably the second dumbest helmet. but they used it, so.
They used it.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, my goodness.
He's a weird hero.
It was. I would love to hear from, if you're watching this and you're seeing it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, just leave a comment below. What did you think about Peacemaker? I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts about that and your opinions, and how you felt about the show. If you're listening to this later, go to our Facebook page and then post
comment,
if
please.
you're doing the audio version, because I really want to hear. This was one that I had mixed feelings with at the beginning, but they ended up really liking it.
Yeah.
By the end.
Let me ask you this: if there's a season 2, you're going to watch it?
I am curious because of the story where it takes you. So yes, I will.
Yeah, I'd like to know where they go from here. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Does Task Force X stay together? You know, do we?
Well, what happens with the whole thing? Yeah, there's some questions I have about. Yeah, right. So I would like to see it. It won't be. It would, like, if I have to choose between a whole bunch of things, you know, it may not be the top priority.
Well, it won't be like Kenobi.
Right, definitely will not be like Kenobi.
Hello there.
You know, kind of a thing. So. Absolutely. So, all right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for listening in with us and watching. We really appreciate it. If you want to check us out on our webpage, we'd greatly appreciate it. 2geeksmic.com. 2geeksmic.com. The number 2 GEEKSMIC.com. That's just kind of our hub for everything. That'll take you to our merch page if you're interested in some merch. We're coming up with some new ideas on some stuff that's more generic and fun. Ko-fi, if you want to help support us, Ko-fi.com. ko-fi.com/2, the number 2 geeks, GEEKS. That just helps support us to pay for the stuff to do for streaming. Nothing really. We make jokes about paying for Mike's Lamborghini and all, but realistically, we're paying for, you know, the hosting to do the podcast as well as the restream software, so we can be on all these ways to connect with you guys and have discussions. I think restream has been kind of one of my favorites because we're getting interactions with everybody, with the listeners and stuff.
I don't want the Lamborghini anymore. I want a Batmobile.
Batmobile. Wait a minute. The new Batman.
No, I don't want that one.
Batman.
No. I either want Michael.
Listen to our The Batman movie review, and you'll get more information about that. That's why I was egging him on that one.
I want either Michael Keaton or the '66 Batman. That's
nice.
Those are my favorites. So,
or you want the General Lee?
Oh, General Lee would be freaking amazing. Or Knight Rider. Kit.
Right.
Oh gosh, here we go. I'm going to go off on all my favorite movie and television cars.
Mom says it's not happening.
She says the same thing about a hearse too, but one day I'm going to end up with one.
Yeah. Which Batmobile was it that we saw at the St. Louis Comic-Con we went to? I think that was the old one.
I think it was 66. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
I've gotten to see the Mach 5 before. I've gotten to see the.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, it wasn't a running model. They actually had to push it into the convention center, which I heard about later. But the car looked incredible. Yeah, I love the Mach 5 also. So,
gotcha.
Anyway,
cool. All right. Well, with that, thanks. Anyway, I'm sorry, I interrupted. Were you saying something?
No,
else?
I was just going to say that on Ko-fi we do have our exclusive Logan's Run episode, our first of our classic sci-fi series that is only available on Ko-fi. So please subscribe and check that out. And we've got Star Trek Wrath of Khan coming up for our second one, and we've got more in the works after that. So
yeah. We got a lot more. We already made our list. That was huge.
Yeah, I think we got a whole list for the whole year.
We could do we could do every other week and fill up a year, I think.
I think so.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you on the comment sections. So please do that. We'd love to hear from you and appreciate you just hanging out there with us in the geekdom, as Mike likes to say. I love it. So, well, Mike, I'll leave it to you to sign us out.
All right. With that said, over and out, and I'll do anything for peace. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,